Resident Evil, or Biohazard in Japan, is a survival horror game made by Capcom. Released in the year 1996 for the beefy PS1 console, you played as two star members, Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield. You were tasked on a mission to find out what happened to the convoy that was being transported. As your team arrives to the destination, you were attacked by man-eating dogs, causing the chopper to leave that was being piloted by Brad Vickers.
Wow, what an asshole!
The remaining STARS unit are forced to flee into a mysterious mansion, and thus, the survival horror begins. Resident Evil 1996 is not my first Resident Evil game. It was actually Resident Evil 4.
Biohazard 4.
I discovered Resident Evil when I was buying video games for my PS2, and there it was, Resident Evil 4. The scary cover caught my attention, for I was really needing another horror game to fulfill my desires. I didn't want to start with Resident Evil 4 because I might not understand what's happening in this game. Luckily for me, my friend told me I can play Resident Evil 4 without knowing any context or playing Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. So I did. I finished Resident Evil 4 and I enjoyed the heck out of it, leading me to fall in love with the series even more. But when I found out that Resident Evil 1 was tank controls, fixed camera, and polygons, man, it took me a year to convince myself to play that game. But when I did, I was frustrated! It was a huge shift from Resident Evil 4 to Resident Evil 1. It took me a while to get used with the controls and gameplay. There are times I would even fall asleep playing it and not even enjoying it. Sometimes I would decide to stop playing this game completely because I kept dying for not being able to control Jill or Chris properly. I'm a guy who loves great stories, and Resident Evil is one of them. The plot and characters was the only thing that kept me going to finish this game. I was so invested with its characters and its lore, I wanted to know how it will end. No hunters, no tyrants, no zombies, no man-eating dogs can stop me from it. And so I did. I finished Resident Evil 1996. When I hear Resident Evil, I remember the Oscar-worthy acting of the original.
Okay, let me handle this. Stay alert!
The campy acting combined with its horror atmosphere was the best combination to make this game work. I would always laugh my ass off when the scene was so serious and they would start talking, trying their best not to sound funny.
Someone is a traitor.
Are you alright, Enrico?
Tank controls. My goodness, was this a terrible experience for me to learn. Thanks to the tank controls, when you panic, you end up not being able to move properly, just like how Jill and Chris would react to the situation as well. But thanks to that, it's one of the core reasons what made Resident Evil a great game in the first place. The jump scare was effective for an old game as I remembered, getting scared from the dogs and some other jump scares that I vaguely remembered too. That's all I can recall from the first game. Now join me as I dive in once again to the true survival horror.
The triggering system has now been activated. All researchers and guards should take cover immediately. Unlock all rooms for evacuation. The triggering system has now been activated. All researchers and guards should take cover immediately. Unlock all rooms for evacuation.
I will be honest, replaying this version of Resident Evil was not fun for me anymore. Just like I said when I shared my first experience with this game, it made me fall asleep, and moments where I had to stop playing due to boredom, I still experience it to this day. It's because it feels outdated. The pacing is so slow that it will put you to sleep. The puzzles and gameplay is not as fun or clever as Resident Evil 2 and 3. Will new players enjoy this version of Resident Evil? Yes, especially the core elements of what made Resident Evil successful in the first place. But despite all of that, not everyone will enjoy its gameplay because it has CCTV camera angles, the outdated movement controls, and the lack of skills for not being able to solve puzzles. So basically, everything that got me bored in the first place is the same reason why most people won't enjoy this game. But it is still a good representation of what Resident Evil is. A scientist creates a bioweapon to be used in combat that will harm millions of innocent lives if it's unleashed. That's like the short version of it, you know? And I noticed as well that the main characters here in this version of Resident Evil, Chris and Jill, is not really that interesting. The only thing that we have in common with them is that we're afraid on what's inside the mansion and we need to escape the mansion. They have no likable features at all except their funny dialogues.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
Overall, the plot and gameplay of this is still pretty decent, especially there's a remake version of it, which we'll talk about soon. So if I was asked to rate Resident Evil 1996, I would probably give it a solid 6 out of 10. Now if you like and enjoy this, don't worry, this won't be the last revisit video. I'll have more in the future. There's still a ton more Resident Evil games I have to come back to and see if my memory still serves me right. So as the video is about to close, I would like to say thank you for sticking around, my fellow primates. And as always, to summarize this video,
fan-made games of Sonic are better than licensed Sonic games.